Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to C.A.R. Entertainment. I am your host Dylan Hamilton here, guys, and today we're going to be talking about more A22 business studies, guys, and this time we're going to talk about the monetary policy. Last time out we talked about, previously we talked about government policy, where we covered the fiscal policy and regional policy, and now we're going to talk about the monetary policy, and without further ado, let's get straight on it. So, monetary policy deals with interest rates, and so the monetary policy essentially can be defined as the manipulation of the level of demand in an economy using the rate of interest. So the impact of interest rates then, well, if you increase the interest rate, then the business that will have borrowed money to finance business projects will then will have their cash flow reduced, and the profits for investors will become higher if the interest costs will rise. If it decreases, then this will decrease consumer spending because it will decrease the amount that is spent on goods and services, which then decreases demand. This then makes trading conditions more difficult. If disposable income is less because of the increased cost of borrowing, then that is also a feature if the interest rate decreases. However, you can think of it positively. For example, if the interest rate increases, then this can be bad instead of the positive effect that we've shown there, but it can be bad because obviously things are going to be more expensive to pay off. If it decreases, it's cheaper to pay off. So more about interest rates, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of exchange rates, which the monetary policy also covers. So if you increase the interest rates, this will attract the investment of wealthy investors, and the attraction of high rates will also give a high return of investment. The demand for sterling will increase as the exchange rate which affect costs of import and exports, and this depends on the direction of the exchange rate, which moves and impacts revenues and profits. So let's talk about that then. Well, exchange rates. There's a short-term determinant of exchange rates, and this is the action of the currency speculators. If they take the view that the currency is going to fall in value, then they're going to sell that currency and weaken the demand for it and reduce its value. A longer-term determinant, though, is the relative strength of the economies which are concerned with it and the different levels of inflation. So the effects of exchange rate on UK businesses. Well, if the price of the exchange rates fall, then this will affect importers. As importers, this is their own currency. So for example, importers such as like a Tesco, for example, is a UK company, then their own currency, the British pound, means that they'll find imports from like other countries like Brazil, etc. They'll find these imports more expensive, and they'll have to reduce their margins and not pass these costs onto the consumer. Or they can pass these increased costs onto the consumer in the form of higher prices. The decision down to how large these margins are and what the price elasticity of demand for and what the price elasticity of demand for these products are. This is what the decision is down to. For exporters, so for business like a manufacturing business in the UK, like Range Rover, someone, and they're exporting their product out, then they'll find that exports will become cheaper whenever they have to purchase the business's own currency, as firms will be finding it easier to win the export market. So if you increase your price, and this will maximize profits, or if you keep your prices the same, then it will work because you're trying to win new markets, etc. So currency then, what if the pound rises in value? Well, for importers, this means that their own currency is less expensive to buy, and therefore they can increase their margins and not pass the reduced costs on, or they can pass the reduced costs on. It's up to them. The decision is down to balancing short-term profit maximization against the winning consumer. For exporters, the exports will be more expensive in purchasing the business's own currency, and you can find keeping the exports the export markets harder. Therefore, you may choose to reduce your price, and therefore profits, or keep the same price to retain this through the strength of the brand or quality of good. There's two different types of monetary policy you'll be able to know of. This is contractionary and expansionary. You can slow down the economy using contractionary monetary policy, which is increasing the level of interest rates whilst reducing the rate of growth of money supply. And you can boost the economy using the expansionary monetary policy, which is reducing the level of interest rates but allowing the rate of growth of money supply to increase. There's different types of measures, M0 and M4. The main ones, M0 being the narrowest measure of money, as it consists of mainly notes and coins in circulation by the economy. You have M1 and M2. From M1 through M3, you can then see that M3 is increasingly broad, such as money supply, bank deposit, credit, and treasury bills. But then, as you go to M4, this is every sort of currency you'll see, such as notes, coins, bill and society deposits, bank deposits, and the holding of certificates of deposit. So how can we as a government in the United Kingdom control money supply? Well, the main tool is the use of interest rates done by the Monetary Policy Committee, or the MPC. They have a given inflation target by the government of 2%, or plus or minus 1% of that, and they use these interest rates to keep inflation within a target band. As the policy has continued, then the focus is on reducing government borrowing. The MPC will set a base rate, and this is an indicator to the rest of the lending market on how they should set their interest rates. If rates fall, the cost of borrowing will fall and demand will increase, but if rates increase, then the cost of borrowing will increase, and this will limit demand. The MPC will base decisions on information collected and what is happening in the economy, and this information is then later misunderstood or incorrect sometimes. You can increase interest rates to push up the cost of exiting and therefore borrowing, increasing costs to the firm, or you can increase costs to reduce profitability, which means you reduce tax revenues, and this decreases the competitiveness of a business, meaning there will be lost orders on markets. High interest rates will push up the cost of mortgages. Interest rates and exchange rates, just to finish off talking about them. So there's a relationship between interest rates and exchange rates, believe it or not. If you have higher interest rates, then there will be a higher value to the pound, and therefore this higher rate will encourage investment, and therefore make an investment off the pound being bought. So basically, whenever you make an investment, you're buying the pound, and therefore demand for the pound increases, pushing up the value of the pound to other currencies. But if the interest rates fall, there'll be a lower value of the pound because there'll be a low interest, discouraging investment in the United Kingdom. These currency movements depend on the rates and the economical confidence. So there's different supply side policies that can also be introduced and used. A supply side policy is used to improve the economy's overall productive capacity. Different measures include privatization, which is whenever the public sector organisations are moved to the private sector to raise revenue, securing a profitable future. You have deregulation, which is the removal of legal barriers in an industry, enabling greater levels of competition, and this results in greater levels of efficiency and competitive pricing structures. You have the incentivization of work, which is reduced benefit entitlements and tightening of the rules force, meaning individuals will seek employment and enable these individuals to take up positions of low-paid employment, reducing the amount of benefit in government spending. Employees will receive labour costs and remain competitive. And then furthermore, supply-side policies that can be introduced are immigration issues, such as a greater number of foreign workers will take up employment throughout the European Union, and appointments will be made at a minimum wage, and these will reduce the cost, enabling employees to fill vacancies. Education and training can be used as a more effective training received. That means there will be more productive employees. The more productive employees will be expected to be, and output will be greater. It encourages business to invest in human resources, which secures a competitive advantage. And then finally, we have transport infrastructure, as if the quality of transport networks affects profitability, because greater levels of congestion means there's an inability to distribute goods effectively and efficiently, and this leads to reduced profitability and a loss of a competitive advantage. Thank you for watching this video. I've been Dylan Hamilton from C.A.R. Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.